Hi YouTube. Today, originally I was just going to make this video seeing if Carlyle and the Icon were the same, but I threw in some other 3/8 ratchets here. All these ratchets here are 3/8, and I've read or seen other videos where people claim that the Carlyle and the Icon were the same. I can definitely tell you that they are different. These are not from the same manufacturer. They're both 90 tooth heads, but they are different, and I will show that to you as we go along here. And I guess I know you're going to see some of these brands and go, well, those aren't professional. My definition of professional is if you make money with your tools, you know, that's your profession. And I guess I'll start with this Aries. I have a friend who works at our local Harley Davidson dealership here in my local area, and these Aries, these are his favorite ratchets. This is what he uses every day as a Harley Davidson dealer tech, and he loves these things. He swears by them. So I bought one just to try it, and I did use this particular ratchet myself. I just used it yesterday doing a brake pad swap on an old Aprilia RSV 1000, and did a brake fluid flush on it too, swapped out the fluid, and it worked fine for me. It did not break, and I'll just kind of give you a quick peek over it here. I guess the one thing about the Aries, the selector switch here, it works in the reverse of like any other common pair head type ratchet. Like so, to the left, this would be loosening. Here's a drive in, and I was going to open these up for everybody, but soon found out I don't have a Torx bit that small. I have no clue. I mean, I can tell it's a Torx bit in the center. These outside ones are T9, and that's the smallest Torx that I have. So I cannot open this up. And this is a new lens on this camera. It's a macro lens, so we should be able to get pretty damn close in there. It's a pretty thick head compared to some other 3/8 ratchets. But again, I just used this yesterday and didn't have any issues with it at all. I'll throw a socket on for you. This is a Wright 17mm deep well 3/8. Kind of show you the. Doesn't look too sloppy to me. Fits on there, not too much wobble. This ratchet is very light back drag. But again, I know that reverse selector switch. Some people aren't going to care for that. Not a concern of mine. It does have nice knurling here on the handle. I'll get right up on that. This is the part number. I did purchase mine on Amazon. And I think this is around 7 inches long. I don't have a ruler handy, but it has good socket retention, but easy enough to remove, at least with clean hands. So that's the Aries. Next, this is a Wright tool. Here's your part number, and you can see Wright specify oil only in the heads for disassembly. Wright is very much a professional tool, more towards the industrial side, but I've been using Wright for a long time. Actually, my father used Wright as well. This is a dual pawl mechanism, 41 teeth with dual pawls, so equivalent of 82. Try the right socket on the right ratchet. Very little slop in between these. Very light back drag. Next, this is the Tecton. You're another, gonna hear people again. That's not professional. There's, watch some more YouTube and you'll see professional mechanics that have Tecton in their toolbox. If one of those recent strength tests I watched, this thing fared very, very high in overall strength test. Again, 90 tooth head. The direction switch is the way, 90% of people want it. This is your loosen. Here's your engraving. I like the handle. It feels comfortable to me. Nice place for your index finger. There. And again, we'll try the Wright 17 mil. A little more slop than some of the others, but not what I would classify as bad. There's the Tecton. Good socket retention on this. Next, everyone's favorite ratchet to bang on now is Icon, the new series from Harbor Freight. And here you might be able to see, you're not supposed to immerse this in something there. So they kind of messed up the engraving on that part. Now this one I have opened up and I did lube it with super lube is what I used in this. If you remember some of my new tool videos, I did end up, when they came out with that notice for the flex head recall, or whatever you want to call it, I took mine back and swapped it out for the 1/2 inch drive long flex head. I figure, if they're willing to swap it for any other Icon ratchet, may as well get the most expensive one. And then they're still gonna, when they rework them or whatever, they're gonna send you a new 3/8 flex head. Although Mr. Subaru, he had replied to one of my comments. He thinks all they're gonna do is fill the head with grease and ship them back out. I don't think that's the case. It could be though, but I've never seen that statement from Harbor Freight. But that could be true. I totally think they're going to rework them totally, and you're not going to see replacements for a year. That's purely a guess on my part. I don't know that as fact. But here's your part number on this one. That is the Icon. Next, Cornwell, the JR40. This is a 30 tooth model. And if you're not familiar with Cornwell and their coarse tooth ratchets, these, for coarse tooth ratchets, they have the lightest back drag around that I've ever used. You can see they are made in USA. These are made by Cornwell, not by any third party. Do a socket retention, slop test. I would call it average. For Cornwell, though, you will need a dealer. They're the one holdout where you can't buy their products online. I guess you could look on eBay too, but Cornwell can be hard to purchase. Good retention, easy enough. Here is the old Craftsman Professional. Now, Sears themselves marketed these as professional tools. See, mine is, you know, I've owned this thing forever. It is a USA model. I think this is 11 inches long overall. 36 tooth head. The internals of these professional models are identical to the flathead or the flat handle Craftsman. They are 100% identical. You can swap the internals with those, no problem. And that was always a big thing with me and the Craftsmans, is they have quite a bit of slop in them. This way. That was one thing I never cared for the Craftsman ratchets. They are quick release, and it does have great retention. I mean, that socket's not coming off. There's your Craftsman Professional. Next, this is the Proto 90 tooth. There you might be able to see on that selector, USA. I've owned this a couple years now. The Proto and Mac tools are identical. The internals, anyway. They're a direct swap. The bad thing about Proto is if you do end up breaking one of these, the warranty process, I hear, can be a real pain in the ass, is my understanding. I mean, you will eventually get it swapped from what I've read and seen videos on, but it can be, you know, a real pain to do. This is a flex head, my favorite kind of flex head. Non-locking, no detents, just free flex throughout its travel. These are sealed. There is a gasket around here that seals it, and there's also one on the back of the selector. Very, very light back drag, smooth action, very little slop. So if you like one of these types and you don't have a Mac man, you can buy Proto. You can buy it on Amazon, and you can actually get these through Napa as well. This particular one, it did come from Napa. That's where I bought it at. And it was actually cheaper through Napa. It was during one of their, Real Deals sales. And it was actually cheaper through Napa than Amazon. If you want the part number of the Proto, great knurling. That is the Proto. Last but not least, this is the Carlyle Power 90 long comfort grip. See, they put the repair kit number on there. This is a recent purchase. Get 90 tooth head. And this is probably the lightest back drag out of all these ratchets. Very, very light. Very little slop. Again, these are T9 Torx that sealed this up. I have opened this ratchet. Actually, I put pictures of the internals of this and the Icon on the garage journal board. So have had this open. And I will put it next to the Icon. There you can clearly see these are not the same. On the Carlisle here, you can see the bolts go through the head here and go into the plate. Where the Icon, they go in from the cover plate into the body of the ratchet. See the selectors. I will say I do prefer the Carlyle because it just, it sits more flush there. Where the Icon, I've seen other people complain about this too, where this switch sits, sits too high off the body of the ratchet. And I agree, it should be closer. I did see one guy complain that he thought the selector felt, bad or whatever. I mean, it feels fine to me. Nice positive action, I would describe it. No skips at all. Positive enough for me. And someone else had complained about the weight of the Icon. Well, let's weigh all these and see what we got. there you can see this is a U.S. postal scale. It's got to be half-ass accurate. 12.1 ounces for the Icon. Carlyle P90. 12.9 ounces. Proto, this is the longest ratchet here. Let's see what it weighs. Just under a pound at 15.5 ounces. Cornwell, definitely a professional. I believe this is 9 inches long. 13.9 ounces. The Tecton. What's it weigh? 10.6 ounces. Craftsman Professional. 13.4 ounces. Wright. 10.7 ounces. And lastly, the Aries, which I believe this is the shortest ratchet out of all these. 10.4 ounces. And last, I don't have snap-on. I used to be all snap-on. Before I got on YouTube, all of my tools were snap-on. I've sold them out. When I originally sold them all out, I went with my main tools. I went to Wright tool. Wright's local to me, and I'd rather support someone here in my home state of Ohio versus Wisconsin. But this is the last snap-on tool that I owned. This is a 12mm, 1/2-inch drive hex socket. This is the big reason that I am no longer a snap-on user. Is I had actually broke 2 of these, this exact tool. The first one here, it twisted. The hex portion, it looked like a piece of licorice that you had just, and I don't know what happened, bad forging or something, but it had twisted. And my dealer, he replaced it the first time. The next one he gave me, and I used it with a breaker bar, I had cracked it. And when I was trying to remove a swing arm bolt out of a motorcycle, and I don't know what the hell they tightened it with, but I broke this socket twice, and my dealer refused. He accused me of using an impact on it. I did not use an impact. I used a 24-inch breaker bar and broke this drive side of the socket, and he refused to warranty it. So I'm like, fine, never come back. And for almost a year, I never had any other contact with him. And then he started emailing me, asking me if I needed anything. I wanted him to stop by. I'm like, no, I sold all my Snap-on. And I got it replaced through Snap-on Direct. I had emailed them and gave them the part number, and they did send me a replacement. This is the only Snap-on tool I have left. I said I either sold them or gave the rest away. So I have used Snap-on in the past, and they're no better than any other tool brand that I've used in my life. So I have used Snap-on. So that's it for today's video. I said we should be coming out with some more other stuff soon. I said I'm anxious to try this lens out on some extreme close-ups of other stuff. So as always, we've gone on long enough here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.